Okay. The chat actually disappears. I thought it would be permanent. Huh. Oh well, I'll figure all this stuff out as time goes. First stream using Streamlabs. I've never used Streamlabs OBS. On my old stuff, my old channel, I would use just straight up OBS. So getting used to the new stuff. But now this is a really cool effect. The X are trying to attack me and then just getting absorbed like any old regular X parasite, because now that I have the Various suit, I am not vulnerable to cold anymore. Which you're going to see the next time I encounter them, they're going to start running away from me, which is such a cool effect. It's just so neat to see them get smart and be like, oh, we need to avoid her now. Grab the missile tank, thank you. I'm still not seeing the chat show up like it should. Oh well, we'll figure it out another day. We'll play around when we're not... We'll do some stuff when it's not like, oh, I'm trying to do a run. Oh, I see it popping up at the bottom there. Okay. I'll have to probably play with some settings or something. Figure something out. Oh, little trick that I almost wasted. Okay. There should be just one more thing I have to grab in this sector on the way out. And it's the door that's right up here. This is a dangerous area to go through on your way through because of all the X. But look, they're running away from me. They're scared. I love it. But normally that's a very dangerous area for you to go through right away. And then you have a mimic here. A fake missile tank upgrade. That leads to the real one. Okay, so now we can leave Sector 6, and this will let us go to Sector 5, the Arctic sector, now that we have the ability to survive the cold. And this area gets a lot easier to navigate as the game goes. Oh my goodness. Just because the power-ups you get. And these flying guys, those little... I forget what they're called. But they are the worst. Because they just give that little death puff in 4 different directions. So they just destroy you. They just always stop you, always knock you around. They're really annoying. How did that X download the Various suit? Yep, they can download data organically. They're a very, very advanced gelatinous parasite. Yeah, the X cannot freeze us anymore, and then super missile combo us, but the ice beam still does a massive amount of damage. And now we're talking about weapons to try to fight back, like the plasma beam and other things, so... and then saying that the ice beam might not be possible because of the cellular makeup of Samus's new body that is part Metroid now. Since all of her weapons and systems are organically integrated into her. It's not just like the suit that she wears. The suit is like tied to her nervous system and other things. So if you have an ice beam, you're trying to fire an ice beam, but you're weak to cold, that's not a good combination. Even with the Various suit, probably not. So I gotta go to Sector 5, the Arctic sector. Let's make our way there. All the way on the other side. From one far side to the other. Okay, Sector 5. You need to download data for the ice missile upgrade, but as you might expect, the data room here is secured. Level 3 security hatches are yellow. Release the security lock and download the data as usual, and experiment with these new missiles. They will be helpful. Objective is clear. Yep, we have to go unlock the yellow hatches, and then get to the data room, get ice missiles, and then run another little gauntlet. And this is another fun area that's like just really fun to traverse because you have the ice missiles that just let you get through everything really easily. But first, get that. And the ice missiles do open up a lot of movement options that are really fun to execute through the game. I don't want to go up there just yet. I need to missile those guys, not beam them. I'm thinking I have the wide beam or the plasma beam right now, but I need to be using missiles to kill those guys. So what happens when you run the game a little too much, you get confused as to what you have available to you. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. And these flying guys, I just run into them all the time. They're just the worst. And I'm apologize for not knowing the names of all of the enemies. There's a lot of them. And it doesn't really give you any descriptions like in Metroid Prime where you scan things. But as you saw, I killed those two guys. And as I've said before, if you can learn to optimize your enemy kills, you will do so much better than me. I'm going to jump up here to try to draw as many of them as I can upwards above me. Didn't work as well that time, but it's okay. And then we're actually going to shoot through the bottom here because we're going to run into a yellow lock if we go through the left door there. No need to save. I have plenty of health. You can hear these guys have a little bit of a heartbeat going. And yellow security locks unlocked. And this is one of my least favorite rooms. It gets easier to navigate once you get like power bomb. Oh my goodness, he reformed like immediately. Stop. Stop. Mercy. Because there's a hidden ladder over here, but it's actually really like weird to activate when you just have power bombs available to you. But we have regular bombs available to you. But when you have the power bombs, it becomes a lot easier. Now we're going to get the data room to get the ice missiles. Alright, we can use this to freeze enemies. And this is a really cool way to get around not being able to use the ice beam and give you the ability to freeze things because, you know, another limitation of playing the games on the Game Boy Advance is that you don't have all the same buttons available to you. You can't switch around between things as easily, and just giving you the ice missiles makes everything easier. Our only other mimic in the game, too, an energy tank. There is no power bomb tank mimic. There's just an energy and a missile one. So they really missed out the opportunity for the little trifecta there. But yeah, you can see that you can freeze enemies and use them as platforms and other things. And we'll jump through here, and we're going to be seeing a kind of puzzle element where you have to kill enemies but let them reform, because this one will reform as this guy, and he'll jump up. We freeze him. And then we kill this one. I'm going to morph ball down in the corner so I don't accidentally absorb him because he flies so low. And then we're going to use him under that little alcove up there to get that missile. And bada bing, bada boom, there we go. I love just how much you can use the ice missile and how many different scenarios it gives you on how to utilize it. And I missed. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, is the phrasing bada bing bada boom, is that racist? Now that I think about that? That's just something I've heard growing up, and it's not something I've, like, never thought about. I hope not. If it is, I apologize. But, yeah, I'll try not to say it again just in case. It is, and that's actually one of my biggest fears with streaming, is it's something I can avoid if you're doing, like, editing and recording and other elements. But, and real quick, though, you can see the shadow floating in the background. Ooh, we got hints coming up. But something that scares me about streaming is something slipping out of my mouth that I don't want, because my mouth is faster than my brain, and there's that whole idea that, you know, what your first response to a situation is what you've been conditioned to think, and your follow-up is what you actually believe and how you actually feel. And I'm just worried something's going to slip out that I don't actually feel or mean one of these days, and it's going to be bad. But we got emergency in Sector 3 to worry about, so we'll... Oh, I didn't want to recharge. I paused for a split second. Okay. But we got emergency in Sector 3. Okay. The main boiler's coolant unit is malfunctioning. So we got about 6 minutes to get there, which is way more time than you need. Get to the main boiler room and deactivate it so that nothing can be destroyed. And it's kind of bringing up this idea that this could destroy all the X on here in the SAX, but the idea that the X may see Samus as a bigger threat to all X life forms, that they are willing to make that sacrifice. And they hypothesize that their survival instincts are conflicting with their newly found intelligence that they get from the humans. So that's a thing. That's like a neat little concept of they absorb all this knowledge, but they don't know what to do with it. They don't have any idea of how to use it. And that's really cool. Oh, I flubbed it up. I didn't open the door. Oh, that's okay. Just drop. It's okay, it happens. It's not going to really waste any time. Just like 10 seconds. Okay, we have to go through the speed boost segment again. And then I'm thinking that phrasing is potentially racist because it kind of just seems to play off of Italian stereotypes. That's the thought I was getting at with it. Like, oh no, is that something that, you know, is like one of those, it's okay in the 80s and 90s, but then, you know, people started realizing, wait, we shouldn't say certain things. You know, I'm kind of wondering, is it one of those kind of things? Okay. Use ice missiles. There's a lot of things you're supposed to freeze and kind of jump off of, but if you do it right, then they're just, you know, you don't need to freeze everything. And I just destroyed the block I need. That's lovely. Need to wait for it to come back. Where is your hitbox? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, we got here with 4 minutes to spare.
4 minutes to main boiler explosion.
And here we're gonna get the wide beam, which is the replacement for the spread laser, the splazer from Super Metroid. Alright, now we have the wide beam, which is one of the better beams in the game because the 3 different segments, you can see the beam is 3 pieces. Each one of those deals like 15 damage. So it deals a lot of damage to all the enemies. Now granted, against basic enemies, the plasma beam is better because it penetrates them, but against bosses, the wide beam is usually better until you get into the Ridley fight. And when you get to the Ridley fight, then the wave beam and plasma beam are like the best to have.